The Department of Homeland Security just announced a new facial recognition policy that affects every green card holder entering the United States. If you travel internationally or plan to, this changes how you'll be processed at airports and borders. What they're collecting, why they're doing it, and what it means for your privacy. Stay until the end. This is critical. Welcome back to Immigration Fresh Updates, where we break down immigration news that actually matters to your life. Today, we're talking about a policy that's causing confusion and concern among green card holders nationwide. The new DHS facial recognition scanning requirements at U.S. entry points. Whether you're a permanent resident who travels frequently, someone who just got their green card, or you're planning to become one, you need to understand what's happening at airports and border crossings. In this video, I'll explain exactly what this policy is, why it's being implemented, what data is being collected, and most importantly, what rights you have and how to protect yourself. Let's break this down clearly and calmly. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is this new facial recognition policy? The Department of Homeland Security has expanded its biometric screening program at U.S. ports of entry, airports, land borders, and seaports. This means that when you return to the United States, whether you're a citizen or a green card holder, you'll likely be asked to undergo facial recognition scanning. Here's how it works. When you approach the immigration checkpoint, instead of just showing your green card and passport to an officer who manually verifies your identity, you'll now stand in front of a camera that captures your facial image. This image is then instantly compared against a database of photos, your visa photo, passport photo, or other biometric records the government has on file. Within seconds, the system confirms your identity. The DHS says this technology speeds up processing, improves security, and helps catch identity fraud and imposters using stolen documents. They claim it makes borders safer and more efficient. But here's what's causing concern. This facial data is being collected, stored, and potentially shared across multiple government agencies. Privacy advocates worry about how long this data is kept, who has access to it, and whether it could be misused. There are also concerns about accuracy. Facial recognition technology has been shown to have higher error rates for people of certain ethnicities, which could lead to false matches or unnecessary secondary screening. For green card holders, this feels like another layer of surveillance. You're already a legal permanent resident. You've been vetted. You've passed background checks. So why the extra monitoring? That's the question many people are asking. So why is the Department of Homeland Security implementing this policy now? According to official statements, there are three main reasons: security, efficiency, and modernization. First, security. The government argues that facial recognition helps prevent identity fraud. Every year, people attempt to enter the U.S. using fake documents or someone else's credentials. Facial biometrics make it much harder to impersonate another person because your face is unique and difficult to forge. In theory, this protects both citizens and legal residents from identity theft. Second, efficiency. Manual document checks can be slow, especially at busy international airports. Officers have to examine passports, check databases, ask questions, and stamp documents. Facial recognition automates much of this process, reducing wait times and allowing CBP officers to focus on higher-risk travelers. The DHS claims this benefits everyone by speeding up legitimate travelers' entry. Third, modernization. Biometric technology is becoming standard worldwide. Countries like Australia, the UK, Canada, and many in Europe already use facial recognition at borders. The US is playing catch-up to align with international norms and improve interoperability with allied nations. But here's the part they don't emphasize. This data collection also gives the government unprecedented tracking capabilities. They know when you leave, when you return, where you travel, and how often. For green card holders who must maintain U.S. residency, this data could potentially be used to monitor compliance. tracking if you're spending too much time abroad, or if your travel patterns suggest you've abandoned your permanent residence. It's not necessarily malicious, but it is invasive. And for people who value privacy, or who come from countries with histories of government surveillance, this feels uncomfortable. Understandably so. Let's talk about what exactly the government is collecting and what happens to your data. This is where things get concerning for many people. When you undergo facial recognition scanning at a U.S. port of entry, the system captures a high-resolution image of your face. This image is then compared against existing photos in DHS databases: your green card photo, visa application photo, passport photo, and any other biometric data they have on file. According to DHS policy, if you're a U.S. citizen, your facial scan photo is supposed to be deleted within 12 hours if the match is successful. But here's the catch. If you're a green card holder or other non-citizen, your photo can be stored for up to 75 years. Let that sink in. 75 years. This data is stored in DHS systems and can potentially be accessed by other federal agencies, including ICE, FBI, and CBP. There are also concerns about data sharing with foreign governments under international agreements, though the details of such sharing are not always transparent. Privacy advocates have raised alarms about this disparity. Why are citizens' photos deleted quickly while permanent residents' photos are kept for decades? It creates a two-tiered system where citizens have more privacy protections than legal permanent residents, even though both are legally authorized to be in the U.S. There are also worries about data breaches. Government databases have been hacked before. If your biometric data is compromised, unlike a password, you can't change your face. Once it's out there, it's permanent. For green card holders, this raises serious questions about privacy, data security, and unequal treatment under the law. Here's the question everyone's asking. Can you refuse the facial scan? Do you have the right to opt out? The short answer is, technically, yes. But it's complicated. U.S. citizens have a clear right to opt out of facial recognition scanning. If you're a citizen and you don't want your face scanned, you can decline and request manual document verification instead. Officers must accommodate this request. But for green card holders and other non-citizens, the rules are murkier. The law does not explicitly give you the same opt-out rights as citizens. In practice, you can request to skip the facial scan and have your documents checked manually, but CBP officers have discretion. Some may allow it without issue. Others may refuse, especially if they suspect something, or if it's a busy time and they want to process people quickly. And here's the uncomfortable reality. If you refuse and the officer insists, pushing back too hard could raise red flags. It might lead to secondary screening, additional questions, or delays. For many green card holders, especially those from countries with complicated geopolitical relationships with the U.S., the fear of drawing unnecessary attention makes them reluctant to exercise their rights. So while you theoretically can refuse, the practical consequences make it risky. You're stuck between protecting your privacy and avoiding suspicion. This puts green card holders in a difficult position. You want to stand up for your rights, but you also don't want to jeopardize your status or be flagged in the system. It's a choice no one should have to make. My advice? Know your rights, but also know the risks. If privacy is critically important to you, politely request manual verification. But be prepared for potential delays and extra scrutiny. Beyond privacy, there's another serious concern: accuracy. Facial recognition technology is not perfect, and studies have shown it's less accurate for certain demographics. Multiple research studies, including reports from MIT and the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, have found that facial recognition systems have higher error rates for people of color, women, and elderly individuals. The technology works best on white male faces because that's predominantly what it was trained on. What does this mean for you? If you're a person of color, a woman, or older, there's a higher chance the system might fail to recognize you correctly. This could lead to false rejections, where the system says you don't match your own photo. When that happens, you get pulled into secondary screening. Secondary screening means longer wait times, more questions, and more stress. Even though you've done nothing wrong, you're treated like a potential security risk because the technology failed. And here's the deeper issue. When people are repeatedly flagged by biased algorithms, it can create profiles that make them targets for additional scrutiny in future entries. You could end up on unofficial watch lists, or get flagged for random searches more often. Not because of anything you did, but because the technology is flawed. This isn't just theoretical. Travelers have reported being delayed, questioned, and even detained because facial recognition systems misidentified them. For green card holders who already face more scrutiny than citizens, this adds another layer of anxiety every time you travel. The technology is supposed to make things easier and safer, but for many, it's doing the opposite. So what can you do to protect yourself while navigating this new reality? Here are practical steps every green card holder should take. First, stay informed. Immigration policies and technology implementations change frequently. Follow trusted sources like Immigration Fresh updates to stay current on your rights and any policy updates. Second, always carry proper documentation. Make sure your green card is valid and not expired. Have your passport with you. Keep copies of important documents in your phone and luggage. The more prepared you are, the smoother your entry will be, whether you're scanned or not. Third, know your rights. You have the right to polite treatment. You have the right to ask questions. If you're uncomfortable with facial scanning, you can politely request manual processing. Just understand there may be consequences, as discussed earlier. Fourth, document your experiences. If you're subjected to secondary screening, delays, or unfair treatment, write down what happened. Note the date, time, location, officer names if possible, and exactly what was said. This documentation can be valuable if you need to file a complaint or seek legal help later. Fifth, consider consulting an immigration attorney if you travel frequently or if you've had problems at the border. An attorney can advise you on your specific situation and help you understand how to protect your rights without jeopardizing your status. Sixth, maintain strong ties to the U.S. Keep evidence that you live here permanently: lease agreements, utility bills, tax returns, employment records. If your travel patterns are ever questioned, you'll have proof of your ongoing residency. And finally, don't live in constant fear, but do stay vigilant. Millions of green card holders travel without incident. Just be prepared, know what to expect, and protect yourself with knowledge. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. This facial recognition policy is part of a broader trend toward increased surveillance and monitoring of immigrants, even legal ones. Over the past few years, we've seen expanded data collection, more aggressive enforcement, longer processing times, and stricter scrutiny across all immigration categories. Green card holders, despite being legal permanent residents, are often treated more like temporary visitors than settled community members. This raises important questions about equality and civil liberties. Should people who've been vetted, approved, and granted permanent residency be subject to more surveillance than citizens? Should your biometric data be stored for 75 years, while a citizen's is deleted in hours? Is this fair? Is this just? Many immigrant rights organizations argue no. They're pushing back against these policies, filing lawsuits, and advocating for equal privacy protections for all legal residents. But change takes time, and in the meantime, green card holders are living under these rules. Here's what I want you to remember. You are not less worthy because you're monitored more heavily. You are not less valuable because the system treats you differently. You worked hard for your green card. You've contributed to this country. You deserve dignity and respect. The system may be flawed, but you are not. Don't internalize the surveillance as a reflection of your worth. Instead, stand informed, stand prepared, and stand proud of how far you've come. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me, where are you watching from? Have you experienced facial recognition scanning at U.S. borders? What was your experience? Thank you for watching Immigration Fresh Updates. I know this topic raises uncomfortable questions, but knowledge is power. Understanding this policy helps you navigate it confidently and protect your rights. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with other green card holders who need to know about this. And tell me in the comments, what concerns you most about facial recognition at borders? Let's keep this conversation going. Stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, you have rights, and you have a community supporting you. I'll see you in the next video.